Let it take its time so I can share mine. What the hell?
All
You
right, we're
ever
live,
think?
baby.
Oh, we
What
live?
happened?
All right, bet.
Nope, it
I
went
was about to
through.
say, you ever. All right, bet. So, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of Nerdcamp Sports. Today, I'm your boy R&B. I'll be hosting today, but I'm always joined by the usual suspects, Mr. Raj Ali and Mr. Mike Will made the production team. How y'all doing this afternoon? Or this
You
evening,
know,
should I say? This evening. Forgot it's
oh,
7
all right.
o'clock. It's still sunny.
We were all right. Just celebrated my birthday yesterday, so uh,
Happy belated, man.
oh, thank you. 30, 38. So we just hoping for another good
Yeah,
year and just
joined the crew, huh?
that's it. Just ready to do what we do tonight and got some smoke for Mister Holmgren. I'm ready.
See, yeah, so I had just got your text and everything. So, hey, the great minds think alike because that's where I was headed. We
Well,
know
Raj,
this time of the year we in. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
no, Raj didn't answer the first question how he was doing today before we go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
Oh,
No, real.
oh, yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. I'm doing good, man. Just happy to be on, man. We witnessed history last week, with the Spurs and the Thunder, but we're gonna get to that, man. We're gonna get right to it.
We
So
go. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We gonna get to that, and we gonna get right to it, right and damn nah. Because,
Uh-huh.
like I about to say, great minds think alike, and that's gonna be first up on the totem pole. So, real quick, just kind of go through it. With it being this time of the year, we won't have a lot, but we do have enough, and I believe,
mhm.
say I know how we can get with each other, so it should
Well,
be a good
in
show.
the NFL decided it was going to blow up today
Yeah,
too, so that
Yeah, a
helped.
lot
yeah.
of a lot of a
So
lot of NFL topics as well.
yeah, for sure. So we gonna start NBA, then we gonna go NFL for a minute, and then we'll finish it out with NBA because I got a couple things on the list that I kind of want to chat with you guys about. But
Let's do it.
Got it.
starting out, and Mike gonna take this one first because he put the request in. The
Mm-hmm.
Spurs win Game 7 and punch their ticket to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014.
Yeah.
14, right? No. Yeah. 14.
14.
14. That was when they
14.
when they
Yeah.
beat the
Heat.
Eagles. Kawhi's, yeah, yep. I'm thinking about LaMarcus Aldridge and Kawhi, but I forgot they never made a damn final together. But
Right.
No.
yeah, so the Spurs win game 7, 111 to 103. They shot 42% from three. OKC did not shoot well from three at all. Outside of Shea, which was the bright spot of Game 7 for OKC, I would have to say that they didn't really play their best or shoot their best at all. Most notable, Mr. Chet Holmgren himself. Mike, what do you think about Chet Holmgren and the way he
His
played in
name.
Game 7 and how he left Shea out there?
So first of all, his name is now Chet Holmgren Harden. Um, First and foremost, I will. He definitely he has a title, respectfully, but yeah, I got smoke for this Negro. So he's not really a Negro, but I'm just so to me, the pace of the game was good. Like I will say, they were competing. San Antonio came out with an early sucker punch. They were up, I don't know, 15 maybe, if I'm not mistaken, something like
Like
that.
12, 15, somewhere around there. Yeah.
They were like 15 in the beginning, and OKC battled back. SGA showed why he was voted MVP. The man was just really making shots, making plays, 35 points. Um, for some reason, I want to say 8 assists, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong on that. Or maybe it was 8 rebounds. I remember an 8 of some sort. But the man was scoring. Now, we understand Jalen Williams has not been healthy this pretty much this whole season. especially this series. I think he played maybe one game or two. Damn it, Raj. However, 1 for 2, Chet. 1 for 2, 4 points, 4 points, 4 rebounds. SGA needed help. Y'all lost by 8. 8. Without Jalen Williams. Without the rest of the second best player was McCain, the guy who was a mid-season trade. Like,
you hold on, you saying in game 7? Or
just well, I think
I would debate Case and Wallace had a better game 7 than McCain. McCain missed some big shots down the stretch that could have, turned the tide.
You're right, because Wallace was hitting some threes, especially in that fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And so to me, you, J. Will, and SGA were paid lucratively at the end of last season after you won the championship. You were supposed to step up. Now, listen, if Chet shoots 1 of 15 and they lose by 8, am I upset about it? Yeah, but we're having another conversation. The conversation for me is you didn't shoot the ball. You didn't try. You weren't there. You weren't available, and yet you were on the floor. Like 1 for 2 in a game 7, and you're the second best player on your team or available, however you want to say it, at least, is a disgrace. And if I'm OKC, of course, they're criticizing what he did, of course, just like I am at this moment. But if I'm OKC and we're talking second apron and we're talking changes that couldn't be made, that could be a change you might have to consider. Because at this point, at this time, this magnitude, game 7, we have not seen a back-to-back champion since the Heat. No, since the Warriors. Warriors,
yeah.
Been 7 years. And, I like different things, but you guys had some history to make there. It's been a while, and you missed it. So if I'm Chet, I'm licking these wounds, but you have got to play better because what you gave us was worse than what James Harden gave us on his way out. He at least scored 9 points. You scored 4. 1 of 2. And then I had, I'm in a few groups and, people post stupid shit online. One guy says to me, well, he shot 50% from the field. 1 of 2. And that you get like 1 of 2. Like, I can understand we talking 7 of 14, 16 of 32. Okay. Then, but once again, and the last point I'm going to make is, oh man, I lost it. The last point I'm going to make is this. He played like crap and y'all lost by 8. Now, we don't know what would have happened. But to me, you lost by 8 and you scored 4. If you would have scored 9 more points, we could be having a different conversation. We don't know for sure, and we'll never know. But all you had to do was offer your team 15 points, 13 points, and you could be going to the finals. Chet Holmgren Harden. That is your name.
Well,
and before you navigate, congratulations to the Spurs. They played a hell of a game. But one thing also that I left out that OKC should have did, Wemby had 5 fouls with 8 minutes to go, and you did not attack him or make him get that 6th foul. Y'all should have found a way to make him do foul 6 and sit his big ass on the bench. That's what I would have done. Get him the foul.
And it's crazy that they weren't, of all times, the team that everybody claimed is such a free throw baiters. They had the opportunity to try to bait when it came to Wemby, and they didn't do it. They kept shooting jump shots.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, Chet Holmgren, he did not show up. Game 7 is his lowest point, but he didn't show up for this entire series. If you really want to know the truth,
Oh,
but
definitely not.
we all know where the Spurs are going. They're going to the finals. But Raj, what I want to know from you, where does OKC go from here? Do they trade Chet? Do they trade Jalen Williams? We think everybody is making this honest assumption now that they're probably going to get involved some type of way with the Giannis trade talks. Which one of them do you think Milwaukee will want? Like where you at on all of this? Is he damn?
Can you guys hear me?
Yo, but you're frozen.
Yeah,
Can you guys hear me?
Frozen.
We can hear you.
All right.
He must have
I
got
don't know what's going on with the phone right now, but yeah, I'm trading both. I'm trading both of them. I'm trading Chet. I'm trading Jalen Williams. I'm getting rid of both of them. I'm restarting the
I can't hear him.
team with Giannis, especially if I'm a guy out there in Oklahoma, because he's not the youngest player on the team. He's in his, I believe, mid-20s. I don't know if he's 25 or 26. I know that he's older than a lot of the veterans that's there, like Caruso and those guys. I would go out and get Giannis at least for 1 or 2
Is it doing the same thing though? Yo,
seasons. I can utilize him and be able to get at least back to be quite
getting bits and pieces.
Yeah. Hey, Raj, do you have a stable connection, bro? Do you have a stable connection if you can hear me? Your screen is black. We can't hear you or see you. It just sound like a dial.
Okay. All right, just bear with me.
Okay. Maybe try to restart your phone. Yeah, because I got some of what he was saying. Like I got his take. Like I understood because he kind of
barely, yeah.
But
I know I did hear him where he said he would trade both of them. But with him, since he's having a little bit of malfunction right now, same. I swing that same question your way. Where do you think OKC goes from here? Do you think they try to just involve Chet in a move for Giannis, or do they try to involve Jalen Williams, or like Roz was just saying, could it be a possibility that they lure both of them over Milwaukee's head to try to swing Giannis?
Well, I think the first thing we got to talk about is it's hard to move these contracts, the size. And now in order to get someone like a Giannis, you're going to have to give up more than maybe one of those players even, potentially. But I do think that they need to do something. And we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, but as you know, the Eagles traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots today. And someone has said to me, well, why'd they do that? I said, well, they lost Diggs and they needed to stay competitive because now there's no going back, right? You made the Super Bowl. You can't go back to missing the playoffs, right? So that same thing applies here. You got to make a move of some sort because no matter how we look at this, Wemby has arrived. Wemby is here. And Wemby the Spurs have arrived. And, so to me, I do think Giannis is a good move if they can do it, but it depends what they have to leverage to get him. Because let's not act like those pieces on the bench and them shooters out there and all them guys aren't a big piece to this puzzle. Yeah, SGA is the main guy. We understand that. But I do believe someone like Giannis would be great depending on what they have to give up, because if you if you give up too much, then what are we doing? I'm trying to think of who else is really out there available, who they could get, but I would at least test the market if I were them and see what happens. Not to mention they still have an ass load of draft picks, and Sam Presti is, he knows what he's doing.
And the crazy part about it is, I believe even in a move with Milwaukee, even if they do move a Chet or a Jalen or both, I believe that you still probably can recoup. So if you move both of them, who are the younger pieces, you probably recruit some picks back from Milwaukee along with Giannis. Maybe not, 3 or 4, but maybe 1 or 2. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You get back that you probably can play ball with and switch them for something else. But I kind of like
absolutely.
the Giannis move a little bit because I seen Chet basically got punked. He got punked by Wemby in the Spurs period, and that's if it's one thing about Giannis. I'm not saying that he would just be ultimate de facto to come over there to match up and go head to head with Wemby, but he ain't gonna punk out. He not gonna back down. So
No,
to that you say what, Raj? What would be your opinion on this whole trade and all this stuff?
Yeah, I would definitely go out and get Giannis. As I don't care what it costs. I don't care if it costs draft picks. I don't care if it costs, like I said, Jay Will. I don't care if it costs Chet and Jay Will. Get Giannis because, like you said, he got punked straight up. There was no reason why you only took 4 shot attempts in a game 7 situation. You're the big man. You're 7-1. You're supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be the answer for Wemby. Wemby 7'4", 7'5". Like there's no one else taller than him on the court, or even close to tall as him on the court that can physically guard him, except Chet. And at that point, if you know that, then we need to find somebody that can come in and stop Wemby, because this isn't going anywhere. Wemby's 22 years old. This is a problem. They're going to run into the Western Conference Finals every single season. They're going to keep
Every
running in
single season.
to the San Antonio Spurs because the whole core is young. And that's the thing. Chet got to figure out, okay, what am I doing? And I thought he was going to figure it out this series. I honestly did. I had high hopes for him throughout the whole entire series because I'm like, okay, they got history, but I think Chet can at least start ramping it up towards game 5, game 6. He didn't do none of that. He scored 4 points in the game 7 situation. That's unexcusable. So, like I said, if I'm Sam Presti, I'm on the phone. I'm making as much contact with every single 7-footer that I can possibly bring to guard Wemby. If I can't get Giannis for some apparent reason, I'm trying to go out there and get Evan Mobley. And I know we had our jokes about Evan Mobley. I know. But you hear me out on this though. Evan Mobley got a long wingspan. So you need somebody that can guard him.
I hear you. It's just I just don't really know. You know what I'm saying? But Evan Mobley, I feel like ever since he won Depoy, what was that, year before last?
yeah.
Or was it last year? It was last year, wasn't it? Or it was either last year or the year before last. He won Defensive Player of the Year. And it seemed like ever since he won Defensive Player of the Year, he just kind of has been a shell of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he for a minute, it was looking like he was gonna be like the second guy right there next to Donovan Mitchell that was gonna, kind of help this thing float in Cleveland with the guard player Garland before they traded him, and it just all kind of fell apart for them. I don't know. Maybe a change of scenery could do something for Evan Mobley, kind of revitalize him, being with a franchise like OKC and next to superstar MVP like
Right.
Shea. Maybe that could bring something different out of him, but I just don't know. From what I've seen from him the past couple seasons since he's won that Depoy, I just don't know. I really don't. But like I said, anybody that I can think of off the top of the head, I don't think it's anybody that I can come up with that I know is gonna at least bring the fight like
Right.
Giannis. Because nobody's gonna stop Wemby. Nobody's gonna stop him. The whole thing is you just want to make it as hard for him as possible, and you don't want
Right.
to bitch out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's easier said than done. It takes, 48 minutes of like really figuring it out and, trying to get him not in that painted area, which is like impossible. Impossible.
Right. Hold on, let's check this update from Raj.
Yo, it's his internet. He's saying his internet's bad. That's why it keeps happening.
Y'all got like some storms out that way or something, or just
Nah, like I can't speak if anything's on Poughkeepsie, but today was 75 and sunny. It was beautiful today.
Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Well, I'm trying to hold off on the juiciness so we can get them back in here, so we can kind of transition over to the NFL. But I'll start with the less juiciest of the NFL
Sure.
topics today. And this is no knock. This ain't no knock against this man or none, but it's the less juiciest. Today, Russell Wilson finalized the deal with CBS to be an NFL analyst with them going forward next season. He decided to go ahead and call it an NFL career.
Right.
We one-time Super Bowl champion, 2 appearances, 10-time Pro Bowler, 16th in all-time quarterback pass yards, 12th in passing touchdowns, 22nd in rush touchdowns, and a 121 and 81 and one record for all time. Do you guys think Russell Wilson is a legit first ballot Hall of Famer? And I'm gonna come to you with this one first, Raj.
With his career, I think that it's considered, but in my opinion, I don't think he is. He just didn't prove himself enough. He had an opportunity to go out there and get 2 rings, and for some reason, Pete Carroll wanted him to throw it instead of run it with Marshawn. So, in my opinion, he always had a great team around him. He had Marshawn Lynch as a running back. He had the Legion of Boom, historically one of the best defensive teams ever in the NFL, in my opinion. So I don't know. I just don't have him as a Hall of Famer. But I do think they do consider it, and they find a way to get him in because of like the Walter Payton Awards and the things he did off the field.
Yeah. What say you, Mike?
First ballot, no, but Hall of Famer, yes. I do believe he did enough. And Raj is right in the terms of like he always had things around him. Unfortunately, once the Seattle days were done, there was no transition. And what I mean when I say that is, as he leaves again, is when Tom Brady left New England, he went to Tampa, he won a Super Bowl.
A super team.
We will say that. You're right. Peyton Manning left. The Colts didn't want him to come back because of his injury. He went to Denver, went to 2 Super Bowls, ended up managing to win another one because he definitely didn't win that game. That defense was great.
He wasn't the same Brady. I mean, he wasn't the same Peyton in that second one. The first one, that was an electrifying year. That's when he did the touchdown record and all that stuff like that. But yeah, that second Super Bowl appearance, it was definitely the what's his name?
It was DeMarcus Ware and
DeMarcus Ware and
my God,
what just left Buffalo.
Von Miller.
Just left Buffalo. Von Miller. It was. I'm like, why am I seeing his face, but I can't get his name right now? Von Miller. They anchored that championship.
So when you leave and you go and move on, and you're not able to do it, to me, if he would have stayed in Seattle, I think he would have won at least one more. I don't know what happened there. I don't know who did what, but to me, not winning that second Super Bowl hurt his legacy, even though it wasn't his fault. It was Pete Carroll's fault.
I don't know if I agree with you on that one, though. I don't know if I agree with you on the narrative that had he stayed in Seattle, he'd have won another one. I don't know if I agree with that one.
He might have. I mean, to me, we just
weren't the same team anymore. He had some good years after the Legion of Boom.
Yeah,
and after Marshawn Lynch, he had some good years, but at the time that he parted ways with him and Pete Carroll, parted ways with one another, where he brought in Geno and Russell went on to play for Denver. At that time, you know what I'm saying, Seattle just wasn't good anymore. They didn't really have a good team like that anymore. They were just basically barely making the playoffs or making the playoffs and getting, popped. So I don't know if I would say that they'd have won another
Well,
one, but
I guess
it
maybe.
might have helped his legacy.
I guess I'm thinking in the theme that if he were there, the same thing that we seen this year would have happened in terms of the team itself. We don't know that, so maybe not. But him moving on, he didn't improve Denver. You know, like he was expected to. They were expected a Super Bowl when he went there, and it just didn't pan out.
Did not pan out at all.
And then the Steelers thing happened, and he looked okay. Like he came in and looked great, like at the beginning, but then once we started playing those tougher teams, your Bengals, your Ravens, your Bills, he just shrank. Then
teetered off.
Yeah, and then the Giants, 3 games and he was out, and now you retire. So Hall of Famer, yes. First ballot, no.
Okay. I think I agree with that one. I think I can agree with that one. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go in on the first ballot, but I also wouldn't be shocked to see him go in on the second ballot.
Right. I wouldn't either, and now, when you look at the criteria, like even now, like I remember, and I don't remember if we talked about this, but Bill Belichick was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it set an uproar in sports media. For someone, that accomplished, between the winning Super Bowls as a coordinator and this and that and all that Brady time and him, it's crazy.
That was something personal though. That's a different story.
That was
something personal. Yeah.
They ain't gonna say that because they're not supposed to. But you're definitely right. They definitely made it to where that's the case. But even still, the criteria is just different, and it don't always work the way it's supposed to. But I think he'll get in some one day. Not first ballot. But it wouldn't surprise me either if it was.
Okay. Well, I feel you on that one. So we gonna go ahead and keep this boat moving.
All right.
Again, as I said, I'm trying to work with Raj here, so I'm gonna try to take it as less juiciest because I want him to be able to weigh in on the big time shit.
Yeah.
So I'll probably say the next one, let's go to the Giants. We see that they signed Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year deal. Odell Beckham has returned to the Giants on a 1-year deal. And they also brought in Braxton Berrios. Is it Berrios
I think it's Berrios.
Yeah, played for the Texans or whatever. Not really a notable name, but has some solid games for them this year. The nice fill-in receiver. This is what I'm gonna say. With Malik Neighbors looking the way he did in that that little baseball thing softball game that him and Scatterboo were at yesterday, or I think it was the day before yesterday that they played in. What do you think this wide receiver and core can look like? Because I'm gonna be honest, from my opinion, before you go, I just don't really see, I don't really see too much craziness with this lineup that make me feel like, oh man, like this gonna be, lit. Like, oh, we talking Juju, who's a receiver known to not really be the best at getting separation. Odell Beckham has been a shell of himself for a while after he got hurt, and that that run with the Rams, it just kind of went downhill even more for him. And then Braxton Berrios, we barely know who he is like that. He's a kind of like a fill-in third, fourth string guy. And then you got Malik Neighbors coming back off of the ACL. So it's like I get why they did it, but at the same time, I don't really get it because it's like, okay, you just had to draft, which I think they did draft a receiver. I think they did take a receiver in the draft at some point or two, but still, when it comes to like the free agents and stuff like that, I felt like they would have been a little bit more proactive if they were like really so worried about their wide receiver room. So to that, you say what?
All right. I got a lot. I've been thinking about this, and there's a lot of layers to the Giants. I'm going to try and say what I have to say without being long-winded. The Giants went out and signed one of the top head coaches available. Mm-hmm. Now, head coaching ain't just about a guy. It's about the organization and about the players. Jackson Dart has proven he can be a franchise quarterback. To me, if he would stop running as much, go through his progressions a little better, and throw more, I think he could be a top tier quarterback in a few years. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, you have to make certain moves and decisions because the Giants are John Harbaugh alone created an expectation. Alone. Now, Malik Neighbors and Scatterboo are a part of your plan, but we know coming off the injuries they had, they're not going to be who they were when they left. In terms of the wide receivers, which was the core of your question, to me, I personally think they should have tried to get Stephon Diggs. Someone who's still a little faster. He's an older player, and we know this, but he's a little faster. Odell Beckham hasn't played since that Super Bowl.
Year.
Yeah. He just was in the Super Bowl. Odell Beckham hasn't played, and correct me if I'm wrong, since that Super Bowl. Did he? I don't think he's played since then. I
don't think it. I think he might have been on a team or two, but I think it just ended up with him being cut at some point. Like I can't recall him actually being on somebody's roster in the game.
So I don't think he's enough to take attention away from Neighbors. That's what you got to get, which is Diggs can do that. Take attention away from Neighbors. Juju, to me, I remember when we had him in Brown, people were like, oh, you got Juju. I'm like, yeah, but Juju's more of a slot receiver. He doesn't do those cuts that Brown would do. And on top of that, there was a season where Antonio Brown had 13 touchdowns, I want to say 1,244 yards. Juju had 400 and some odd yards and 7 touchdowns. And people were like, look, he's great. But I'm like, that's because Antonio Brown caters so much attention. Now he's gone. Now you're the guy. And since Brown left, he wasn't the same for us. Then he was on the Chiefs. That didn't work out too well for him. Was he on the
championships?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did. He was on that team that won the championship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he was on 2 of them.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, in terms of, I'll give him that. But in terms of him and the way he played versus when he was with the Steelers, they didn't equivocate. And now he's older.
I wasn't arguing that at all. Yeah.
Now he's older. So to me, these signings don't move the needle. You need someone to take attention off of Neighbors. Neighbors is still going to get those looks. And I mean, can they do more? Can they do something? Sure. And as for Berrios, I mean, obviously they've seen something. Hopefully they can get something out of him that they can use on the field. But to me, with all the moves the Giants have made on both sides of the ball and hiring their coach, I expect, and I know it's a little early. We ain't quite ready for NFL preview. It ain't August, but I'm going to just say I expect the Giants to make a run at minimum at winning their division. Make a run for it.
Really?
Make a run, meaning I expect them to compete like they're going to win. Don't lay down. I'm looking at a Washington team who doesn't know their identity. I'm looking at a Philly team who just lost arguably their best receiver. And I'm looking at Dallas like it's Dallas. To me, they don't have a shot, but they have an opportunity, if that makes sense. I expect them to at least be competitive in it, not just roll over.
To sum it up, you feel like some of these other teams within the NFC East are in a bit of a disarray coming into this season. So you feel like the Giants could be just right here at the perfect time to try to take advantage of it.
Yes. Not that I'm like, oh, they're going to go out here and win 12 games. No. But if the other teams are dysfunctional, 9-8 could win this thing. You never know. 9-8 could win this. 10-7 could win this for them.
I don't disagree with you because it could trade the AJ Brown trade could. It's something about the Eagles that we just don't know how they're gonna look going into this year. I don't think people outside football fans outside of Philadelphia really trust the Eagles like that going into this year, especially after how they were last year coming off the Super Bowl. Washington was beat up a lot last year, so they got some revamping and revitalization to do within themselves coming into this season. We already know where Dallas was at last year, just up and down, injuries, so on and so forth. And then you bring in the Giants, the team who's been drafting young talent, has young talent on both sides of the ball. Just got to stay healthy. Just brought in a new coach in John Harbaugh. I mean, you could be right. You could be right. I don't think that's too far-fetched of a statement because, like you say, that division, which is always a crazy division. That's why it's a surprise when anybody wins it back to back. But that division definitely could be in disarray this season, in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Philly won that division this past year, right? Philly won it?
Yeah. And I think the Cowboys were second, well, not a close second, but second.
Second, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, we tried to give Raj some time to get back in, but I don't know what's going on. He gave us an update, so we just gonna keep this thing rolling, man.
All right.
AJ Brown, speaking of Philadelphia, AJ Brown has been traded to the Patriots. We all know the Patriots released Stephon Diggs, even with the whole little thing going on, and they still made it to the Super Bowl. The not guilty verdict was found in Stephon Diggs' favor, but the Patriots still decided to move on. I believe they moved on before the not guilty verdict. They had already released them. So, but they still, even not knowing, they still decided to move on. And at that point, it was a lot of speculation with what was going on in Philadelphia that they would be keying in on trying to bring AJ Brown in to reunite AJ Brown with his old head coach from Tennessee. What you think about this move, man? What do you think this does to Philly, and what do you think this does for the Patriots?
Okay. So once again, this is a little bit of a loaded question, but how I feel, I think it makes some sense. So the Patriots just went to the Super Bowl, and now you lost a receiver, and we know they have other receivers on this team. But like I said, Diggs helps with attention. You went 13-4, I believe was their record this season. You went to the Super Bowl. You can't go backwards. You had to replace that receiver. To me, talent-wise, they're pretty close. Maybe, some may. I think they come on personal preference. I wouldn't put one over the other.
AJ and Stephon?
Yeah.
I think most people would probably say, especially at this point in their careers, I think most people would say AJ Brown, over Stephon, because AJ's still in the conversation for, if not top 3, top 5 receivers in the NFL. I don't think Stephon is in that argument no more. He's more so around maybe top 10, top 15 now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. So for me, it's about them. Staying competitive enough to keep playing the game. You don't want to go and fall backwards. I think this was a good move for them because AJ Brown's gonna be excited, rejuvenated. You have oh my gosh, Drake May there. Doing what he did. Now we know, just for the record, and they did have the soft schedule. We understand, but this year they're not gonna have that soft schedule. They're gonna have to play some harder teams because of where you went to the Super Bowl. You know, you were arguably the second best team then. Like, when you go backwards. But I think this is a great move for the Patriots. I also think this is a great move for AJ Brown. Because they just Jalen Hurts is the most disrespected quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Because I don't know how to put it. I don't know. There's just something not there. Like
and I was just about to say, you can't say he's the most disrespected, then follow it up and say, where there's something that's just not there, because that means that is it truly disrespect, or is it just the truth and reality of what we see? We all got two eyes, and it's like ever since they made the two Super Bowl runs, capping it off with winning the one with Saquon Barkley, and I would argue even the year that they won it, and to be honest, before they won it, that I was already kind of seeing a slight decline in Jalen, but he was still playing at a high enough level where it was kind of like, Philly was still looking good enough to mask all of that shit, where it was kind of like, nobody paid attention to it. But especially after they won the Super Bowl, it's like he has not been the same quarterback. So I would disagree that he's the most disrespected Super Bowl winning quarterback, because I believe that the criticism that he gets is warranted, because his play has not been the best, especially for somebody that we've seen go to two Super Bowls, win one, and play at the level that he's played at in those two Super Bowls. You don't normally see such a precipitous drop off. So again, I felt like it was warranted. I don't think he's disrespected at all.
Well, before Raj goes, I also want to say that when it comes to that Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, won them that Super Bowl. The season he put together was masterful. His play, because one player made the difference. And then last season we seen he didn't have the same year, and
Jalen wasn't able to pick up the slack. See, when Saquon picked up the slack for him all that Super Bowl year run, then we already do having that many carries, that many yards, and blah blah blah. Saquon might not be the same Saquon coming in the last year, because he was gonna, be worn down. So now you needed Jalen Hurts to be able to pick up all of the slack for the offensive side of the ball, while Saquon wasn't having his best year. He wasn't able to do it. They weren't horrible, but they don't look like Super Bowl contenders. It's too many weeks where they just did not look like Super Bowl contenders for Super Bowl winning offense or team.
Yeah.
Damn, he went right back out.
It's just not his night, I guess, with the internet. Oh, hold on, there he is.
All right, can you guys hear me? I hope so. I put it on data, because something's going on with the internet here. Every phone I used, or every device I used, was acting up. So hopefully you guys can hear and see me clear.
Your modem might need to be rebooted.
Yeah, I might have to reboot
unplug your modem for like 30 seconds and then plug it back up.
Yeah.
But just to get back on, I cue you in just to kind of get back on track of things. We were talking about the AJ Brown move to the Patriots, and I basically had asked Micah, what does he feel like this does for the Patriots and to the Eagles? So I'm gonna state that same question for you with the AJ Brown move. What do you think this does for the Pats, reuniting him with his old Tennessee head coach, and what do you think this does to Philadelphia, losing a wide receiver of that caliber from the locker room?
It's a great move for Philly. I mean, a great move for the Patriots. I think it's great because the Patriots they needed that wide receiver one, and then we know Stephon Diggs wasn't coming back, so it's hard to fill that spot in with just some random receivers that they had last season. It's freezing again. Damn it!
Slightly.
A little bit.
All right, is it good?
We hear you.
Okay. So we know that All right, well, we know Stephon Diggs not coming back. So having AJ Brown back there with his old coach Vavel, I think is a great move that AJ Brown was ever comfortable in Philly. Playing alongside Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts didn't get
We losing you.
along with him, off the field, on the field.
We losing you, Raj.
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
kind
that
of
they
can hear
moved
what he
on,
was.
but Philly,
Okay.
they don't
Damn.
really have what's going on. All right, am I back?
Damn. I could kind of hear what he was saying though. That he was basically saying that it seemed like AJ Brown wasn't comfortable playing next to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And I would say I wouldn't necessarily say it in that way. I think Jalen Hurts and I think that AJ Brown. I'm talking about Jalen Brown. I think AJ Brown um, lost confidence in playing with Jalen Hurts. That's what I think happened. I think that they got to the Super Bowl that year, and what I'm saying, I think it was, they all felt like, okay, boom, we was just there. We just gotta turn it up a little bit, and we can get it done. Then they didn't make it. They kind of faltered that next year. Went out and got Saquon Barkley, and then they went back and they got it done, but it didn't look as good outside of Saquon. You know what I'm saying? On the way to getting it done, and then when
Right.
you add saying this past season into the fold as well, it's kind of like, like, so I kind of get where Raj was coming from, but like I said, I would just say it differently. I think he did enjoy playing with Jalen Hurts at first. I think he lost confidence in him, as
Right.
as some of the other, I think it's other people in Philly who's lost confidence in him too.
And you know what? During that what was it? The Super Bowl, I think it was, when he dropped 3 passes or 2 passes. Well, how many passes he dropped during the game? It was a big game. I forgot.
Talking about
I don't know if it
AJ
was
Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
That was the playoffs this past. That was this past playoffs
Yes, it
when he
was.
dropped
Okay.
those balls. Yeah,
So I think they lost confidence in AJ at that point. You know what I'm saying? And I think honestly, the team felt tired of the shenanigans. Like they felt tired of him playing like he didn't really want to be there, and there was a lot of back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like off and on the field. So
yeah.
I think it's great that they moved on from each other. That's all I gotta say. I think it's good that they moved on.
I want to ask y'all something.
Yeah.
Since you just brought up that point, do y'all think that Philly lost confidence in AJ Brown, or do y'all think that AJ Brown quit in that playoff game, which led to him dropping those passes, and Philly was able to beat that shit, and that's really why they, went on and expedited this separation? I'm not saying that this is what I think. I'm just throwing it out there as a question. Like, do you think he quit in the playoffs?
I don't think it's either one. Only because, okay, for the last few seasons, we've been hearing them talk about, are they going to trade AJ Brown? Are they going to trade AJ Brown? Then they win. This was before they even won the Super Bowl. Then they win the Super Bowl and they were throwing him the ball and he was scoring. And then they stopped. So to me, I think that it's a culmination of everyone saying "fuck it." I think, and I miss Will on this show. Shout out to him because, like, he would always say two things could be true at once, right? So I would say that they believe. I believe that oh my god, I got the words in my head. I just can't get them out. I believe that they lost confidence. They lost faith in him, and because they lost faith in him, that forced him into quitting. That's what I'm trying to get at. They were like, they stopped throwing him the ball. And part of it is I don't think they fully have faith in Jalen Hurts either because they don't allow him to throw the ball. And then Brown's like, I'm not getting the ball. So, I'm in my prime. I left Tennessee to come here. You know what I mean? Like, or I got traded or whatever the case was. So I believe their lack of faith in the duo, because they didn't really have faith in Hurts to throw it, and when he was throwing it, he really wasn't throwing to him, caused him to get mad and say, fuck it. I mean, you gotta remember, he is one of them Brown boys, so if your last name is Brown, you're wild,
Say it was his prerogative, huh?
Oh, I like that.
It was his prerogative.
I like that. That's good.
Oh,
man. Well, I mean, that's how I go sometimes. So I just say I wish them both the best of luck. So hopefully Jalen Hurts can come out here and silence some of these critics, and hopefully AJ Brown can do even better than Stephon Diggs did as the number one for the Pats next year. And maybe they find themselves back in the Super Bowl again. But I tell you, it's gonna be tough. And not only is it gonna be tough in the AFC, it's gonna be extremely tough in the NFC because, gentlemen, we got a blockbuster trade that went down today. And I already know y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all gonna have to give me a second on this one here, though. Y'all gonna have to. I know I'm hosting, but I'm gonna give it off to y'all. I'm gonna let Rod start with it after I'm done. I ain't gonna be long.
Take your
all I want
time.
to say, man, the motherfucking Detroit Lions, and people sit up and ask me all the time, why do I love Green Bay the way I do, and why do I support Green Bay, even though I still love and support my Lions? This is why. This is why. Ladies and gentlemen, today the Rams did what they do, and they said, fuck them picks. And I know that they've only gotten one Super Bowl so far since Stafford has been there, but they still got one Super Bowl. And they still have been relevant, and they still have been winning. And they have set up a winning culture off of drafting well. And when they need to say fuck them picks, they say fuck them picks. The Rams traded today for Myles Garrett, giving up a young, promising superstar in Jared Verse and a 27 first-round pick and additional picks to follow. Bringing in Myles Garrett is a hell of a move for the Rams, and I think that this move is going to be the type of move that definitely bolsters that defense. Jared Verse was a hell of a player, don't get me wrong. Hell of a young player, but he's not Myles Garrett. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Not yet. He could get to that level. He has that type of promise, which is why he's involved in this trade package. But he's not there yet. Myles Garrett is already there, been arrived, and he's that guy. I think this move solidifies the Rams as the favorites to come out of the NFC this year. And not only the favorites to come out of the NFC this year, I think solidifies them as the favorites to bring the whole damn thing home and makes them the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. Jared Verse is now a Cleveland Brown in a rebuilding stage, and Myles Garrett has the potential to win a Super Bowl this year, playing with the current reigning MVP and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. One hell of a coach. One hell of a move to say fuck them picks. I don't know who the Rams GM is, but good move to say fuck them picks, because us in here in Detroit, we were trying to get Brad Holmes to say "fuck them picks" when we heard the first lingering we heard. This how desperate Detroit is for a Super Bowl. The first little inkling of lingering we heard of the possibility of Myles Garrett being traded a season and a half ago or 2 seasons ago. People were saying, "Man, fuck them picks, whatever it take, you need to go get them." Now you done let the
Absolutely.
team who got our old superstar quarterback who wanted to depart from here and go there. Now they didn't went and got the piece that we should have been getting here. The year that Adrian Hutch that Hutch went down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let Raj start off on this one, man. But hell of
Right.
a blockbuster trade today by both teams. I don't think either team loses. I think this is a great trade for both teams. To that you say what, sir?
I totally agree. I'm not going to be long-winded with it because I'm going to just say this was an excellent move, and I'm glad that Myles Garrett, in the twilight of his career, get a second opportunity because there's a lot of defensive players that don't get a second opportunity, and never that he fits.
Damn.
Do he keep coming in on Wi-Fi or is he coming in on his data? Because I thought he said he switched into the data.
Yeah, he did
It
say that,
seemed like it was flowing good for a second. Then
but sometimes the phones, like even if you turn the Wi-Fi off and you have Wi-Fi, it'll still
automatic
connect. So
connect to it.
it might be automatically connecting it.
He got to turn his Wi-Fi off completely on his phone.
Yeah, because my phone does that. It'll automatically connect, and I'm like, no, don't connect to the damn Wi-Fi. Just stay on the data.
I think it's something to do with StreamYard because I had it on my data and it was still doing this, and I used another phone with data and it did the same thing. So it must be a StreamYard thing, huh?
You got good bars?
Yeah, I got all the bars up. I don't know what's going on.
Is your Wi-Fi off? Sometimes it connects to the Wi-Fi even though you turn it off.
Yeah, it might be. But real quick, I think it's a great move for Myles Garrett to play alongside with Matthew Stafford, especially at both of them in the twilight of their careers. I think it's great. So that's all I got to say. And I also love the fact that the Browns got Vertus. I think that was a good move as well.
Yeah. So Mike, do you think that I just want to segue into a question for you. That's all.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to know, do you think that Jim Schwartz's departure from the Cleveland Browns has anything to do with this Myles Garrett trade to the Rams? Do you think, because his new deal that he just signed this offseason when they paid him all that money had a no trade clause in it. And so do you think that there was some low-key conversations that went down that Myles Garrett finally just said, man, fuck it, trade me?
Well, first, I'm just say as a Steelers fan, I'm glad you're gone. I just had to throw that out there. I'm glad you're gone. You know, we don't have to worry about
meet him at the airport with his luggage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got to worry about you terrorizing us twice a year now. So I'm glad you're gone. But I do think so, and that was the icing on the cake because there's been speculation. Damn it! I look down, he's gone again. There's been speculation of him being traded for a long time now. Like same thing. Right. Like, is he gonna get traded? Is he gonna get traded? Is he gonna get traded? And with everything that's happened, and then that, it was time. And I think he was just like, you knew he wasn't gonna go. Like he's been losing his whole career. Let's call it what it is. He knew, so they knew he wasn't going to go nowhere where he couldn't potentially win. And to me, he ended up in the best location because, I was telling my wife this earlier, when I look at the Rams during the season when they played Seattle and even in the playoffs, they didn't beat them by much. They were just a little bit better on those days.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
21-19 was one score. I think that was a Thursday night game, and it went into overtime. I don't remember the second one, but offhand, or the third one, but I do know that they weren't blowouts, and that they were in each game. And these teams are in the same division. So when I'm looking at the Rams now, as presently constructed, they're dangerous. They just needed that one piece on that side of the ball that could take them. And to me, they can take them. They can take anybody. They could take anybody. To me, like, I'm high on the Rams. And I told my wife earlier, and this ain't our NFL preview, but damn it, I'm gonna say it now. I agree with you. I believe that the Los Angeles Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, especially if Stafford could throw together somewhat of a similar season as last year. Because I tell you, that man was great for my fantasy. Great for my fantasy. So, when I look at that,
Devontae Adams. Is Devontae Adams still there, or did he didn't they cut him, or did they keep him? Because I think that's going to be a monument to their success moving forward, at least on the offensive side of the ball, because the things that he was able to do to free shit up for Puka Nacua, you know what I'm saying? I think that was monument, but I can't remember if they kept him or not.
It says he's still there on the Rams.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Long as that's still in place, yeah. I definitely got them the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
Right. So when I look at all that and I take into consideration Kyron Williams running the ball as well, Stafford just really being able to do what he does, and his offensive line's amazing. They're able to keep that pocket quite clean. I mean, they're going to have a hard time, Seattle and whoever else, and it's going to be exciting, and Myles Garrett has a new jersey on, new life, and he probably is going to feel like he's got something to play for. So I'm definitely all for. I definitely think that's going to be the outcome.
All right. Trying to be a little patient, but I know he was saying he was about to hook his laptop up. But that's pretty much it as far as NFL topics. Now the rest, everything I got is NBA. So I guess we can kind of get into the Spurs and the Knicks.
Sure.
Final start. Excuse me. Final start Wednesday night. I think at 8:30. We got the Spurs. We got the Knicks.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna just get straight to it. Who you got, Mike?
I'm a little torn. I'm not a Knick fan, but I'm from New York, so I just and I never, okay. Then when the Knicks went to the finals in '99, I recall it, but same thing like Jordan. Like I recall the second three-peat, but I wasn't into it like I am now. So on paper, my heart tells me Knicks in 7, but reality tells me Spurs in 6. I just don't know how Cat can hold Wemby. I don't know. I just
just gotta match him.
What's that again?
I said he can't. He just gotta match him.
Right.
What I said last week. He gotta be hitting that 3 at a high clip to pull Wemby out that paint.
Right. And there's that. And then on top of that, you have to look at and you tell me also, it's a question as well as a response. I feel like the Knicks or the Spurs have a deeper bench.
I think it's I think it's even. I
Really?
really think it's even. I think um if I'm being honest, I think the Pistons, New York, San Antonio, and OKC were not only the four top deepest teams in the NBA, but also, you know what I'm saying, four of the last six teams that were left in this whole playoff run. So I think it's really about even when it comes to depth. I, I just can't get Cat out of my mind, for lack of a better way of saying it. Pause. He's the X factor in this series. I think that San
Right.
Antonio is deep. I think that the Knicks are deep, but I think that if the New York has any chance of, I think it's going to be a good series. But I think if they have any chance of winning the series, Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to really shoot the ball at a high clip in this new, found point big man role that he's
Point
playing under Mike
forward, point
Brown's,
center.
yeah, yeah. But I think
Yeah,
he's gonna have to shoot the ball at a good clip for sure. He's gonna have to because that's the only way you're gonna really be able to pull Wemby out of that paint. But with that being said, I do get where you're going with it though. The Spurs are deep as hell. I mean, you got Dylan Harper. He's a rookie, and look at the dividends that he's paying for the Spurs being out there on the floor, clutch buckets, clutch moments. He's doing it all.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of different things that are going on with the Knicks and with both teams. And I feel like both teams definitely they definitely want it. Like the food, whoever wins this is gonna make history.
All right. Can you
They're
guys
gonna
hear
be
me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we heard.
Whoever wins this is gonna be the first team to win. Or I mean, hold on, no, I'm sorry. If the Knicks win, they'll be the first team to win the cup and the finals.
Championship finals.
Yeah, the
Ain't
championship.
it funny how history repeats itself though? Because they beat San Antonio to win the cup this year.
Right.
And the last time they made it to the finals in '99, they lost to San
San
Antonio. The
Antonio.
first time they made it to the finals since '99, San Antonio. But also, '99, Tim Duncan's rookie year, 2026, Wemby's third year ahead of
Yeah.
schedule. Both times people didn't really have those teams.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is now with Wimby, it's I asked Anthony Edwards, and I don't know when this was, but I had seen it just like in the clips they were showing. He was like, do you want to be the face of the league? Or what it'll take to be the face of the league? Some that was the question in some form. And he said, we got Wembanyama. Like, like, he's making a strong case to be that next face of the league. Some argue it's still LeBron. LeBron is still the most scrutinized player, but eventually we got to move on. And it's supposed to be Zion. That hasn't panned out. And then people said it could be Edwards, but Wembanyama's different. He's different, man.
And the only thing that done panned out with Zion is the pans of lasagna and whatever else his ass stuffed down. They can't keep him in game shape to stay on the court or stop getting hurt. Like, I don't even want to hear nothing about that disappointment. That shit horrible. Such promise with Zion that we just have not gotten or are missing out on. Could you imagine if Zion was able to stay healthy and be on the court? The series of Zion versus Wemby, the big the movable object against the alien.
Oh my God. Like it's crazy. It's crazy, and I think that Zion, if he just lost some weight, but not enough, if he can keep it off, because he just a lot of times I was reading I want to understand the science of a lot of these injuries, right? and weight. The weight, he was like 320, I think, at some point. All that weight coming down on his knees, and the way he plays. And you know, when you slam the ball and you come down with all your weight on your knees, it messes up your joints and your oh my god, not your arteries. Oh my god, I
Like
can't think of the word.
Your tissue, your muscles.
Yeah, muscles. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Muscles, tissues, and that's what weakens the knees. You know, and it hurts the knees. And that's part of his thing. If he lost even 60 pounds, excuse me, if he lost 60 pounds, he would be in better shape, but he just ain't there. He just ain't there.
Yeah.
And now he's just there. Like, like he's on the Pelicans. He's just there. And it's crazy. Yeah, well, Raj says I think it's StreamYard. I used 3 different devices that did it with and without the internet.
I think it's his internet. I think his modem might need to be reset. He probably need to reset his modem. Might be some need to clear the cache on that mug. Every once in a while, you're always supposed to, do a little reset on your modem, let it clear its mind and shit. Because that shit get clogged up and, fogged up as well. So
absolutely.
But man, I'm gonna get my pick. Like I said, I think it can be a great series. I think it has the potential to go 7. I'm rolling with the Spurs because that is one of my 4 NBA teams. You know what I'm saying? Like by default, me and my brother used to have a heated rivalry between the Chicago Bulls and the San Antonio Spurs back in the day when we were younger and playing the video game together. We would always play NBA Live, and he would always pick the Spurs, and I always get the Chicago Bulls with Guard 98. But we all knew who Guard 98 was because Jordan wasn't putting his name in the. And we used to have some fierce battles, and over time, it just kind of made me appreciate appreciate the Spurs. I fell in love with Tony Parker when he got there. It's one of my favorite point guards to ever watching of all time. So my heart is with the Spurs, and I'm rolling with the Spurs. But I definitely think that it could be a good series, and it wouldn't shock me at all if I'm watching come Game 7, 6, or whatever the case may be. If a sweep would shock me for sure. I can't say that. But if it goes beyond, 5, 6, 7, into 7 or something like that, it wouldn't shock me at all to see Wemby walking off the court with his head down in a valiant effort as New York brings home the first title since 73, because they've as a team out battled San Antonio and had the better of them because of their youth. Wouldn't surprise me, but I'm rolling with the Spurs.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. And it's a credit to Wemby because this team has turned around so quickly. I seen something the other day that they had like 24 wins one season, his first season, then like 36 or something the second season. Now they're in the Western Conference Finals and they're ahead of in the finals, I'm sorry. And they're ahead of schedule. like people are, oh, this, that, they're ahead of schedule, and they're gonna be a hard team to beat. Especially if they find a way to keep all their pieces, because that San Antonio is going to be a spot now, and they got a good squad. No matter how you look at it, they have a good squad. They have a big. They're dangerous. They're dangerous in many words. Sure. Facts.
And yes. Deeply dangerous, dangerously in love. For sure. So we almost through here. Maybe I don't know if Raj can hop back in at some point before we finish out, but I got a couple more topics Yeah, I would like his analyst on the finals and his pick, but maybe not today. But I got a couple more topics I want to get into real quick. One of these is a little bit older, but we just never got a chance to cover it. I know, had my father passed away, so missed a couple things and whatnot. But I really had wanted to talk to you guys about I don't know if you've seen it, but a couple weeks ago during the playoffs, Draymond Green was a special guest on, inside the NBA. I think Shaq was not there for that episode or whatever. But anyway, there was a discussion that had happened between Draymond and Charles Barkley, where Draymond kind of had basically said, in so many words, saying we all try to avoid, being you in Houston. And he basically took a shot at, when Charles Barkley was in Houston and he was no longer um he was no longer the Charles Barkley that everyone had, grown to love. And, he wasn't the MVP, high scoring, you know, second best player in the league, possibly best power forward in the league. He wasn't that anymore.
Right.
He had gotten a little older. But the reason I wanted to bring that to the, the podcast here was because I was kind of looking up some stats and stuff because that made me think.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to see Charles Barkley's span in Houston, which was 4 seasons, versus Draymond Green, since Charles was only in Houston for 4 seasons, last 4 seasons. So I'm gonna read off Charles Barkley's 4 seasons
Okay.
in Houston. Over 4 seasons, Charles Barkley averaged 16.5 points per game, 12.2 rebounds, and 4 assists. Not, horrible numbers by any
No.
stretch of the imagination, but for Charles Barkley, the big mound of rebound, of course, that's a drop off from a guy
Right.
who was the MVP of the league in what 94, I think, either
94.
94 or 95. Yeah,
I think
MVP
Grant.
of the
I think
league.
Grant Hill was 95, wasn't he? Didn't Grant Hill and
Grant Hill?
no? Hold on.
No, that day Grant Hill and Jason Kidd shared Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
no, yeah, MVP. Like Charles Barkley won MVP. I think it was 93 because it was the third of the three-peat from Michael Jordan, first three-peat. 91, 92, 93, they played Phoenix. Charles Barkley won MVP. Jordan would go on to say he felt disrespected and not winning the MVP, and the rest was history. But all I'm saying is in 4 seasons with the Rockets, this dude averaged almost 17 points a game, over 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. Draymond Green's last 4 seasons as a Golden State Warrior, 8.6 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists. Sometimes we just gotta learn when to shut the fuck up or what not to say, to be
Right.
honest with you. Like, and I like Draymond. He's a Michigan product, but it'd be like sometimes I hate to hear motherfuckers just running off at the mouth and they just get to saying shit. And it's like, dude, like his 4 seasons in Houston may not has been productive wise as good as what and no winning wise, you know what I'm saying, as good as what, to be honest, that might be an argument. That may be an argument. Because Golden State has not really, you know what I'm saying, they were a play-in team this year, didn't make it. They snuck up to be the second or third team in the West last year after the Jimmy Butler trade, but then Jimmy Butler goes down. Then the year before that, you know what I'm saying, they I think they were a play-in team again. And then the year before that, was that the championship? Or was that was that the year after the championship when they beat Boston? Because I'm only taking it 4 seasons, but
I think that was the year.
All I'm saying is that don't disrespect this man, to sit up there and say we all try to avoid being you in Houston. Like, come on, bro. It's disrespectful. It's not like if I could look these stats up in Draymond Green the last 4 seasons, was looking like 20, 10, and 8 or some shit like that. Like the Draymond of old, which I don't think
Right.
he's ever averaged 20, but Draymond of old, where it was kind of a little bit more, spike to the numbers and stuff like that. Maybe he got a relevant argument, but to sit up and say that, and it's like, nigga, you don't even look like Draymond of old your damn self. At least this man was still putting up serviceable numbers. Like
Right.
everything that I just ran off from Draymond Green is single digits, single digit stats. So I just be these talking heads, man, with the so-called new media and all this shit. They just be talking sometime, and it irritates me because they try to make us seem like we don't know what we be talking about, as if we don't have eyes and can't see and don't watch just because they played the game. But it's like, dude, you played the game and you still don't know what the fuck you talking about, because you sitting up here talking about diminishing what he's done when he was in Houston, but what he did 4 seasons in Houston is better than what you doing right now in your past 4 seasons as y'all struggle. When Steph Curry is hurt and out, Golden State ain't shit with Draymond Green.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? They're nothing. They're a lottery team when it's just Draymond Green, and it's already been proven. Which is why the year that they were going into the lottery, he ended up just sitting out the rest of the year too with a injury, and I quote. You know what I'm saying? So like, come on, man. I just kind of wanted to know your thoughts on that and what you think about that one, because I felt like that was a slight and disrespect.
Not everyone should be given a microphone. That's number one. Number two, Charles Barkley won the MVP in the 92-93 season. I just looked it up.
Okay. Yep.
And,
So I was right. Yep.
And as for Draymond, Lord, I'm glad he didn't take a shot at Charles in the sense of like his career. Like, excuse me. A lot of people take shots at him because he didn't win a championship.
Right.
But, what he did in Houston, was it the same as Phoenix? No, not even remotely close. But, like you said, the numbers are serviceable.
Yeah.
Those
and
numbers.
Houston was supposed to be a super team. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at Draymond Green, who has had a super team or a few, who has had a lot of help, those numbers Barkley had would be career highs for Draymond Green. Because, let's call it what it is. Draymond, think about it. Draymond's known as this great player. But what accolade or what statistic does he have that's great? Is he is he on the all-time leaders list in steals? He don't block shots because he's shorter than most of the people he defends. He doesn't score many points. He's not the best of rebounders, because of his size. He has built a Hall of Fame career, because people will, to me, I don't believe he's a Hall of Famer, but he will go in there one day, in my opinion, just based off of the teams he's had. He has bit off the success of Steph Curry and Clay, and to an extent, he reaped the benefits of Kevin Durant being there for a few years. So for him to take a shot, it's like, bro, you got to learn when to not speak. You're still a current player. You're still trying to do the best you can. You're done winning championships, in my opinion. It's over. Draymond Green, in my opinion, will never win another championship unless someone huge goes to Golden State within the next couple off seasons. But for you to take a shot, bro, come on. Like, you're saying what he did was unforgettable, was forgettable. Bro, what you're doing now is forgettable. Like, there's no relevance to you because you're the guy other than Steph on that team that has 4 championships. So, although I would say, excuse me, technically, Jimmy Butler's the second best player on the team, but he's the one. You're going to be looked to as the leader, as the veteran, because you've been there and you've been through everything, and then, and then you have Porzingis there. He's still there, no?
Yeah, Porzingis is still there.
And
he just ain't playing a lot, or wasn't playing a lot,
So, to me, Draymond, please shut up. And do us another favor. Retire in basketball. Retire your podcast. Bro, just retire at life. Please. We don't like you.
I ain't gonna go that far with it.
We don't want to hear from you. Me personally, I'll speak for me. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to see you. The media world would be better without you. I mean, and this is saying a lot. I would rather listen to Skip Bayless than you. Let that soak in.
Man.
God.
Oh man. So I'm mad that I'm mad Raj can't be here for this one. We might have to make a note. We're gonna have to revisit this next week because I gotta hear Raj's take on this one. But I'm gonna get into it for the last subject of the day.
All right, I'm gonna write it
This
down.
This is gonna be the last subject of the day. Rich Paul.
Okay.
I'm gonna play something, and I want you to tell me if you can hear it. And if you can't hear it, then I'll just kind of explain it out. But hopefully you can hear it. But I'm gonna play this little short reel in the back. I'm gonna play this short reel into my mic real quick, and give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Right. They're just not. Right. Scottie Pippen rings, those 6, they're not the same as Michael Jordan's. Right. They're not the same as LeBron James.
But they're pretty good.
But they're good. They're good. If there's some sidekick rings, if there's some sidekick rings.
You don't think Scotty's rings are just the same as Michael Jordan's? Why not?
Because he won the best player on the team.
Yeah, but he was the most impactful player on the team.
I get it.
What do you mean?
Listen, I get it.
If you unplug Scottie Pippen off that team,
sure.
Jordan's 0 for 6.
Sure, who knows? But
could be.
But replace Scottie Pippen with another All-Star. No one does it without another All-Star.
No, you got
another All-Star. He's going to win more than one.
You can replace him with another All-Star, but just because it's an All-Star don't mean it's Scottie Pippen.
No question. I'm not saying 6. I'm saying, but you got to win some.
How many All-Stars are going to be willing to take a back seat knowing
100% of every All-Star who ever lived?
That's not true. That's not true.
So this is a pull from the Casual Conversation podcast with Rich Paul and Max Kellerman that airs on YouTube. They had Gilbert Arenas on there as a guest, and they started to have the conversation, that I just played. And basically Rich Paul, went into this soliloquy about how Pippen was the most impactful player of those championships. And if you unplug him, Jordan never wins a championship, or Jordan goes 0 for 6. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's starting to get out of hand, to be honest with you. To be quite honest, it's really starting to get out of hand. And it's little dumbass, whole ass tactics like this are why it's deeper than basketball at times for me. Why I never acknowledge or say that LeBron James is the GOAT. We've gotten so far, beyond really basketball. I think it's personal at this point because, to sit up and create these outlandish, idiotic, dumb takes like this, and really put that narrative out there that you're trying to say that if you unplug Scottie Pippen from Chicago, from the Bulls, then Michael Jordan never wins a championship. or we don't even have to go that far just to say that Scottie Pippen was the most impactful over Jordan, over the dude who, you know what I'm saying? It's beginning to get irritating because it's like how they go out of his way now where he create these takes about Michael Jordan just to try to lift LeBron. And it's like, dude, like, bro, if people don't want to have LeBron as the number one player to ever play the game and only have him at 2 or 3, or I know some people who, I think it might be a little disrespectful, but some people, which are everybody's entitled to their opinion, might have them lower. Some people don't have them in the top 5. Some people don't have them in top 10. I think
Right.
that's a little disrespectful. Like Skip made a list where I think he had him at 9. I don't really respect that list because he had Kobe at like 7 or 8. You know what I'm saying? So, and I believe, me personally, from my experience of watching basketball, and this is only speaking from me and how I feel and how I view it. I
Right.
view that Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James are the 3 greatest basketball players I've ever seen with my
I
2
agree.
eyes in my years of watching basketball.
I
And
agree.
I think that it's a lot of consensus out here that would also agree with that, and however order they put it. And I just think it's getting to the point now with a lot of people from LeBron's camp, mainly Rich Paul, where they feel like they have to slander Michael Jordan or make up dumb topics like this about Michael Jordan in order to help big LeBron up. Like, oh, Scotty was the most impactful. Scotty went over to Portland and couldn't do shit with that team when it came to Kobe and Shaq. You know what I'm
Word.
saying? Scotty had a chance to prove that he could be the man when Michael Jordan went to play baseball, and they were, I think they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals or in the playoffs. He decided not to play anymore because he got mad and pouted like a little bitch because Phil Jackson drew up a play for Tony Kukoc at the end of the game, who Tony Kukoc was a hell of a player. He was basically the
Crazy
number
shooter.
2. You know what I'm saying? With Michael Jordan not being there, he was basically the number 2 next to Scotty. He drew up a play for Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc hits a game winner. Scottie Pippen didn't even celebrate with the team because he was mad that the play wasn't for him because he wanted to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to
Yeah.
be the man. And sometimes being the man is not being the man, if you feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
You got to take
Sometimes
it.
being the man is not being the man. You imagine what it do for Scotty Kukoc's confidence if Scotty over there hugging him, lifting him up. Good shit, boy. You did it, boy.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's being the man too. You know what I'm saying? People forget these things. People forget that shit happened. That really happened. You can go research it and find it. It happened. So to sit up here and try to demean Michael to lift LeBron up by saying, this idiotic shit about him being the most impact, and it ain't no disrespect to Scotty because we all know that he was impactful. We all know that he could play both sides of the floor. But who won Defensive Player of the Year, Michael or Scotty? I think Michael won that. Who won the scoring titles? I think Michael won those. You know what I'm saying? Who's the number 2, I think, now behind Kobe Bryant, leading assist getter when it comes to guards? You know what I'm saying? That would be Michael. So
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to bring that one to the floor, man. I really wanted to know what y'all both had to say about that one. But, we missing Raj today. So like I say, let's revisit this one next week. But I definitely want to hear how you feel about that, man. Like it's just getting beyond crazy now.
So I've learned as we get older, one thing that is hard to do in any form of entertainment, any form, I'm just not subjecting that to sports. I'm subjecting it to music. I'm subjecting it to movies. I'm subjecting it to everything. It's harder to compare eras, right?
Yeah, my bad.
No, you good. So when we look at that, and and I'm gonna just keep it back to sports, and I look at this, there's no doubt LeBron's the greatest player of this era. Anyone who doesn't believe that ain't been watching or is just a hater. That's number one. And number two, Scotty, okay, Scotty was a intricate part. But if you watched, and I'm sure as a sports fan, you watched the Netflix special, The Last Dance, the 10 episode series they had released a few years back. And Scotty was pretty upset his whole tenure there because he signed a bad contract. He signed an awful contract, 9 years, 18 million or something like that. That's bad. And he was angry the whole time, but he still went out there and did his job. Now, what I'll say you had a chance to prove you wanted to be the man. Michael left town for 2 seasons. You allowed someone else to come in and win. 1990, believe the bad boy Pistons won that year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The migraine.
Well, I also remember that there, if I'm not mistaken, in that series, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there was a game 7, if I'm not mistaken, and Scottie Pippen didn't want to play because his back hurt.
His head hurt. He had a migraine.
Oh, it was a headache. Yes, it was a headache.
Migraine game.
Yep, Jordan played with the flu, bro. Sick as a dog. Went out there and dropped 38 and did it seamlessly. Seamlessly. So, for you to say Scottie Pippen's the backbone and Jordan would go 0-6, would he have went 6-0? Maybe not. I'm not saying Scottie Pippen wasn't a big part of that, but 0-6 is asinine. And to me, I get upset with these debates because people change the narrative, right? Like they change the narrative to fit. Like you said, to me, it goes Michael 1. I still got Kobe at 2 and LeBron at 3. By the end of his career, LeBron might even get to number 2 just because he's like top 5 in every category that's known to man. like the statistics have to count for something. People want to go to 4 and 6 in the finals. The damn logo was 1 and 8 in the finals. No one talks about that. No one talks about that. So, I just don't. I can't get behind this. And then Rich Paul, bro, we know LeBron's your client, but to me, and you'll understand and appreciate this analogy, LeBron is to Rich Paul what Brock Lesnar is to Paul Heyman. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. But
you know how I see it.
What's that?
I want to know how long these niggas been fucking, B.
Yeah.
It's like this is ridiculous at this point. A lot of ball gaggling going on.
That's
all I'm gonna say.
And we gotta look at it for what it is. And right now, what it is that whether people like it or not, LeBron's a top 3 player all time. LeBron ain't gonna retire this season. He gonna be back next season. He gonna keep playing, and he gonna make people mad. But for the love of God, guys, even in the beginning of this season, I was kind of upset they stopped doing them, but they had Jordan having that. They had Mike Tirico sitting down with him in his house, and they were talking. And he said it. It's just the comparing of the eras. It's just not gonna work. It just don't work anymore. And now players are different. These players today ain't like Jordan. They ain't like Bird and Magic. They're nothing like those guys. Nothing. It's just and the organizations are different too.
I think Wemby got a little bit of that throwback dust on him though.
Well, you know what I'll say when it comes to Wemby, the culture in San Antonio is different. It's different.
who he's being mentored and tutelaged by.
Right, because Duncan's still over there, right, on the coaching staff.
Yeah. I don't know if he on the coaching staff, but you better believe
He's
they
involved.
pop he's involved. Manu shows up at a lot of games. Tony Parker still shows up at a lot of shit. I'm pretty sure a lot of the other ones that we just don't get to see them like that because they're not gonna highlight them the way they do, Tony, Manu, and Tim. But
Yeah,
you got Bruce Bourne and some of the other ones that have been there over the years. Like he got a lot of throwback, you know, guidance and tutelage to learn from. And I think he just
exactly.
wired like that already himself. He came into this shit being wired as the type of guy that's like, man, I want to be the greatest of all time, or I want to come to kill. I'm coming to kill.
Exactly. And that's what it comes down to is I think he does have a little bit of that in him. You're right. But then that culture over there is different, like than any other culture in the NBA. And a lot of those guys are refined, a lot of them are calm. And it's gonna be quite the ride. It's gonna be quite the ride to see. But Rich Paul, shut up.
I bet Denver wish Joker had some of that in him. Yeah, Raj.
Uh,
Yeah.
yo, yeah,
In the finals, baby.
Joker's at home.
We in the finals and Joker at home.
Like,
I want to be on the show so bad, huh? Kid steadily coming up here, reaching up and shit, and trying to get up here. Like what you doing up there?
I want to be seen.
He won his 10 seconds of fame.
Hey, I ain't mad at it. Oh yeah. He said like, and now, look at this. I'm just reading this now.
Breaking news.
The San Antonio Spurs will reportedly look to extend Victor Wembanyama to a 5-year, $251 max rookie extension with supermax language that can increase the deal to as much as $301 million, which would be the second largest contract in NBA history behind Jason Tatum, $316 million.
He's earned it.
And actually,
third year finals.
I want to say something that not many are saying. I want to talk about Jalen Brunson real quick before we sign off of here.
Cool.
And this was included, and I did this too. So when Jalen Brunson could have signed, and I don't know if you know the numbers exactly offhand, but I think
when he took the pay cut.
When he took the cut, do you remember how much the original amount was?
I want to say it was he took almost like an 80 to $100 million pay cut in order for them to be able to somewhere around there.
Like 190 or something like that.
Yeah.
204, something like that. And if the Knicks win this NBA Finals, that pay cut was worth it. They were able to go by him saving that money. That they were able to get OG, they were able to get Bridges, they're able to do all this stuff, and it just shows that you don't always need the money. Like he's still making good money, right? Like 113 million ain't a little bit of money. Hell,
it's all about what you want to do. It's some people want to win, some people want to make money and win. Some people want to make money.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with, any of that. I just wanted to say, Brunson, that was a big thing. And I just on that alone, you hope he wins. How could you not like the guy? The guy is just
like I Jalen Brunson. I like Jalen Brunson.
And I said it, I think last week, maybe the week before, I said when he went to the Knicks, I'm like, Jalen Brunson, that guy? And then you and Raj were saying how, but he was, when Luka was down, but you don't see the full picture. Like that was a small sample size. I couldn't see him
Oh, that
leading.
was Roger Will. I actually kind of agree with you on that one. Like
Yeah.
people wasn't everybody was questioning when they went out and got Jalen Brunson. Nobody like really dogged him, but it
Right.
was a question of like damn, they giving that money to him, like like you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm
Right.
saying, like who he nice and all, but you know what I'm saying, who the fuck is he? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody see him doing what he has done so far since being in the New York uniform. Nobody saw that coming.
No. And then, hey, babe, earlier, what'd you say? Nixon what when we were talking about? My wife said Nixon 5.
Damn.
She's just happy the Knicks are in the finals. Like that's all that matters to her.
That's how she gotta say it. She gotta say Knickerbockers and 5.
It's like Shannon Sharp. Knickerbockers and 5. Oh God. No, there's not gonna be a sweep here on either side, in my opinion. It's gonna go at least 6.
I think this going at least 6 to 7 for sure. I think.
Absolutely. Well, my brother, it was a good episode, even though it was primarily me and you, since Roger's internet decided to say fuck off.
We apologize for all of the technical difficulties that Roger was having tonight. Hopefully he get that fixed and straightened out by next week. But that is the end of this week's Nerdcamp Sports edition.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, please make sure you guys follow us on YouTube. Try to find us on Facebook, Instagram. Like, share, subscribe. We need the love. We trying to take this thing to another level.
Absolutely.
Other than that, man, stay blessed and stay prayed up. I'm signing out of here.
All right. Peace. See you next week.
Deuces. See you next week, bro.
Yes, sir.